drawing from his storied, but in his words, hugely instructive experience in the hands of kidnappers. Professor Hope Eghagha, a lecturer in the Faculty of English, University of Lagos, has written a book titled Your Death Hour is 10 o'clock. For his experiences, motivation for writing the book, and the lessons learned, we're now being joined by him on this program. Hope Eghagha, good morning, and welcome to the morning show.
Thank you. Good morning, Ruben.
Hope, I was told that you are bereaved. First, our condolences.
Thank you.
Yes, well, God will strengthen you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you have now put your experience into a book form. You were abducted at the time you were Commissioner for Higher Education,
right,
in Delta State. And then you wrote a short story,
yes,
which you presented publicly. And now I understand you have put a proper fence around it.
Yes.
You had promised to do a play out of that experience.
Yes.
Is it a play that we have now or a novel? And then for the purposes of our viewers, if you could just take us back to that harrowing experience and give an account of it.
Okay, yes, thank you very much for having me on the program. Yes, okay, let me give the background. But two things. The first is I've put together a collection of short stories, but the major story has to do with the kidnap. So that's one. And I'm working on the play already. This lockdown has been quite beneficial for me. So the play is about ready. What happened, to give a background, I was traveling early one morning, end of September 2012, between Warri and Asaba, somewhere just after Abraka. My car was attacked. In fact, I had dozed off in the car. As I said, it was early, rather early. I had set out early, about 6:30 to 7. So about 8, I had this brutal noise about me. I woke up from my slumber. In front was my orderly, police orderly. That was the driver. I had a passenger behind, my cook actually. Then when I looked through the window, I saw 3 young men, you know what I mean? They had guns at the ready. They hesitated for a few seconds and then charged at the car. At this time, the car had come to a stop. They ordered the driver out, asked him to lie on the ground, which he did. They came to my side of the car, tried to open the door. It wouldn't open. It had jammed for some reason. So they damaged the side glass and pulled me through the window, you know. And then the nightmare began in earnest. They put me in their car, took me to their hideout, and for 16 days, I was a captive, subjected to all kinds of horrendous attacks, physical, verbal. They tried to depersonalize me. They tried to intimidate me, to say things that would make me feel worthless. I was permanently scared. The scariest of it all was, your death hour is 10 o'clock. You know, I was blindfolded. I was inside a room. And at a point, someone would walk in. I guess it was a gun. The butt of the gun we used to hit the floor. And after a third, he would then pronounce, your death hour is 10 o'clock. Now I can smile and talk about it. Of course, it wasn't funny at the time. You know, your death hour is 10 o'clock. And I would wonder, 10 in the morning, 10 at night, 10 today, 10 tomorrow, you know? So that went on. They established contact with my family. Negotiations were on. And after 16 horrendous days, I regained my freedom. And I decided to put this into writing.
And thank you very much for doing so. I mean, it's great that you have shared your story with us. And I wanted to ask, what lessons in particular would you really like people to learn from this harrowing experience that you had to go through?
Well, I really don't know what lessons people can learn. But let me put it this way. Personal security is important. Again, you have to have faith in God, have some belief, because what kept me for those 16 days was faith, the hope that nothing terrible will really happen to me. Then have a good relationship with people you work with, no matter how trying the circumstances are, because goodwill is important. I recall the kidnappers telling me, "Oh, Oga, you're a good man." And I said to myself, I didn't have the courage to tell them at the time, if I'm a good man, why am I here? You know, and at the end of it all, one of them did say, "Oga, we know you now. When they call your office, you know, it was just money for the boys." Then I also found that they were highly knowledgeable. They had distorted views, quite all right, warped views about society, about government appointments. Yet they gave me lectures on social dynamics, on the relationship between the governed and the governors. For instance, talking about poverty. At that time, the state government had banned the use of motorbikes in major cities in the state. And then they were saying, how do you expect us to survive? At the time, the level of insecurity was very high, and these boys, men, were carrying out criminal activities using the motorbike. The government then said, appropriately, no, we're going to ban Okada, you know, in the major cities. And that is what most states have done right now, as we know in Lagos, all right? But they were giving me lectures that, look, if you are going to ban the use of Okada, you should create an alternative for us. How about your primary schools? Why are you not funding primary schools? Why are you not paying teachers well? All kinds of things, you know. So it was a one-way lecture because they didn't really want to listen to me. If I said things that they didn't like, they'll give me a slap or use the butt of the gun on my head. But I learned a lot from them. And perhaps in the course of this interview, I'll say more.
Well, but let me ask you quickly. I mean, when you look back now, will you say that the abduction was politically motivated, considering the fact that you were a member of the cabinet in the state at that particular time?
I don't have any reason to believe that it was politically motivated. Except to the extent that they wanted to get at the governor. At the time, quite a number of them thought I was favored by the governor. So perhaps they wanted to get back at the governor and then kidnap, in quote, a favored commissioner. To that extent, yes. But I don't think it was that. They wanted money, all right? Because as we later found out, there was a gang that was behind kidnappings in Delta State, in the Niger Delta, well organized, with cells, as we found out later, in Port Harcourt, in Benue State, and then in Kokori, which is in Delta State. In fact, that was their base. They took me to Kokori. All they wanted was money. Later, they added another dimension when they talked about oil resources. They were saying that in Roboland, we produce oil. Kokori, where they took me to, have been producing oil for decades, but that all the oil pipelines had deprived them, denying them access to their farms, and that they were trying to make a statement to the government, you know. So it's criminality, and then they try to add politics to make it sound, you know, people-friendly, people-oriented. No, but they were simply interested in money.
Well, thank you very much, Hope Eghagha. We wish you all the best with the publication of your book on that experience, and that's a lesson that many of us should learn, putting a fence around our experiences.